this class today is about easy, simple movement. It's about really feeling your body and keeping the movements small, but being really connected through those movements. So particularly if you're having a stiff day or a high pain day, it's about just doing what you can, just staying within what's comfortable for you today. And if anything doesn't feel comfortable, instead visualize that movement, or feel free to change it and mix it up. So it's about kind of being easy, being kind, being simple with your movements, and seeing how you feel after doing that for practice. We'll start lying down on the back on the floor. And let's start with some super simple movements. I want to do some somatic practices, which are all about just feeling things, contracting things, and releasing things. Well, particularly contracting muscles and releasing muscles. So I want you to first just get your breath into your belly and your lower back. So if you take your hands down to the belly, notice if you're carrying any tension there. And notice if that's impeding your breathing, if that's limiting your breathing. Feel for relaxing internally. Relaxing internally so that you can get some breath to your belly. Feeling your belly rise and fall underneath your hands. Consciously lengthening and slowing your breath in a calming way. And then feel for connecting your breath with your lower back. Perhaps by slightly holding in the belly at the front, not a lot, just a tiny bit. So that then you feel more of your breath expanding into your lower back. Doing that in a gentle way, not a forceful way. Not doing anything forceful today, just feeling. Being curious about what the different sensations are and in what different parts of your body. Is there aching? Is there sharp pain? Is there warmth? Is there coolness? Just noticing and allowing yourself to feel the feelings without necessarily reacting to them. So what is the baseline physical sensation that's occurring today? Then I want to focus on cat exercise 1, which is about connecting to your lower back. And on the inhale, you contract your lower back and increase the arch in your lower back. And then on the exhale, you relax your lower back and release that. Now, if your lower back is super sore today and doing that movement doesn't feel okay, that's okay. I want you to visualize it instead, like imagine that, like either as a picture in your head or as an imagined feeling. You could imagine the movement instead if it doesn't feel okay. Or if a little bit of movement feels okay, but a lot doesn't, stick with a little bit of movement. So noticing your lower back, noticing the curve of your lower back, where that's curved away from the floor. And then as you breathe in, slightly increase the space between your lower back and the floor, bringing more of an arch into your lower back, just a little bit, only as much as feels okay right now. Exhale and soften or relax that. Soften and relax as completely as you can. So there's no effort. You're releasing out of all the effort. So we'll play with that for a few rounds, just on the inhale, arching your lower back or imagining it. On the exhale, very, very slowly releasing whatever that action was. So there's no effort at all, really letting go. Just one more, super slowly. And then take a few breaths without doing anything at all. Just your breath really being the only action. With minimal effort, but still breathing deeply and feeling for accessing your belly and your lower back with your breath. Feeling for directing kindness towards those areas. Like you'd be kind to one of your beloved pets or kids. Cat exercise 2. With this one, you clasp your hands behind your head. And if clasping your hands behind your head feels uncomfortable, like if that already sets off loads of pain, I want you to just keep your hands on your belly. You won't be lifting your head and shoulders, but you'll be sort of visualizing and connecting to the muscles without lifting. If you're doing the bit with the head, then the hands are clasped together and the head is resting in the hands. When you inhale, do that mini movement in your lower back where you're contracting and arching your lower back, just as you were before, just within what feels comfortable or visualizing. Then on the exhale, you'll contract your front body. So if your hands are behind your head and it feels okay to lift the head, you're lifting your head and shoulders up off the floor, kind of moving your shoulders towards your hips, only so far as is comfortable. And if this does not feel comfortable to lift up, you keep your head on the floor, but just subtly contract between your shoulders and the front of your hips. When you next inhale, very, very slowly return your head to the floor, letting your front body release. And then once you've landed on the floor, totally relax on the exhale. Let go of any effort. So that's the mini sequence. I'll talk you through it one more time, and then you can do some on your own. Really slowly, though. So on the inhale, you're focusing on the lower back, contracting lower back, increasing the arch. Exhale, releasing in your lower back, but contracting your front, perhaps lifting the head and shoulders up. Focusing on this muscular contraction in your front of your torso. Inhale, releasing the front, come slowly all the way down to the floor. Exhale, relaxing everything. Doing that again in your own time. Within what feels comfortable, whether that's small movements, whether that's visualization. Feeling, connecting, and noticing to the front of your torso, the back of your torso. Moving in a way that feels kind to your body. No forcing or straining. After the round you're on, just bring your hand somewhere that feels comfortable. Just resting and noticing your body, your breath. Next thing we'll do is a like a sideways twist. I have loads of pickles in my way, so this is tricky. Finding a way of stretching your arms out to the sides. And I'm to actually start this with the legs. Take an inhale, sending your breath down to the belly and the hips. And then do a mini twist. Do not go as far as you can. Just take your knees to the left, only as far as feels comfortable. Might not be that far. That's totally fine. Then on the inhale, bring your knees back to the middle really slowly. And then on your exhale, take your knees to the right. I want you to start this with really slow movements. Just feeling into, as you slowly move from side to side, what range of movement is comfortable. Might not even look like a twist. Just really working within whatever feels okay, whatever feels comfortable. Connecting your breath with your belly, your hips, and your lower back as you do this. Keeping it super slow. Let your jaw relax. And sometimes slowing down even more can be a really good thing to do. So there's no momentum, no flinging yourself around, just being really slow, really mindful, and really connecting to whatever sensations arise. But kind of in a, as much as possible, in a calm way, like being curious rather than going into like a thought spiral. Like, our minds are very good at thinking, and sometimes you feel something in the body and then it's really easy to end up in lots of thoughts about that thing. I'm not talking about that so much. It's just feeling the physical sensation, adjusting or changing what you're doing if that feels better, but not getting so much into the thoughts and the worrying. Being more curious about, okay, what do I actually feel? What are the sensations? What part of this movement feels okay in this moment today? With lots of breath. The breath is a really good ally for helping you feel your body, be present to your body. And then bring your knees back to the middle, rest your hands somewhere comfortable. Noticing how you feel after that small movement. And then roll over onto your side and come to a seated position. I want to do Udiana, which is a movement where you're kind of connecting to the belly and pulling the belly in and up. Now, for this, you could do this in any comfortable seated position. So if you'd rather have your legs straight, that's fine. If you're better off kneeling on a block, that's fine. Or if you feel more comfortable sitting up on a cushion or two or a block, that's also totally fine for this exercise as well. Okay, so what I want to do is Udiana and lion's breath. Udiana is the thing where the belly pulls in. Lion's breath is where you open your mouth and stick your tongue out as far as possible. If you're a young person, you might also enjoy doing this as well. But there's a mini sequence with this that I'll talk you through a couple of times, and then you can do a few on your own. Inhale deeply, filling up with breath. When you're full of breath, hold your breath for a count of 5. Then open your mouth, stick your tongue out, and do a lion's breath. Coming into a mini forward bend. So you might have your hands on your knees, you might have the hands on the floor, just a mini forward bend. When you're empty of air, then you do Udiana. You pull your belly back and up and in. You're kind of sucking everything from your pelvic floor up to your diaphragm. Pull it all in. Hold that for a count of 5. And then we'll do that again. So I'll talk you through one more round. Inhale deeply and fully. Hold your breath for 5. Lion's breath, mini forward bend. When you're empty of air, pull your belly in, pull everything in, and hold for 5. Okay. With these, again, stay within what feels comfortable. Don't kind of push or strain at all. Well, the lion's breath is quite like rah, but don't push or strain into any pain. Let's do 3 more rounds. After this round, come back to your normal yoga breathing. So deeply breathing in and out through the nose. Next, we'll do some pelvic tilts on the hands and knees. This is a little bit like cat-cow, which you've probably done before, but I actually want us to make it more about just getting the movement of the hips and not so much about moving the mid-back or upper back. I want you to keep your upper back, your neck, your head still, so you're focusing on feeling into the hips and how that movement there is today. So come onto your hands and knees. And we'll focus on just moving the hips. So as much as possible, keep your head and your mid-back, upper back in neutral. So inhale, connect to your lower belly and relax your lower belly down. And as you do that, feel or imagine your tailbone moving up. Then when you next exhale, gather your lower belly in and upwards, and then feel or imagine your tailbone moving downwards. So we're just going to stay with that really simple movement, feeling that and working with whatever range of movement feels comfortable today. So inhale, tailbone is tilting up, lower belly lets go and drops down. Exhale, tailbone tilts down, lower buttock muscles switch on a little, and the lower belly pulls in and up to help create that tilting movement at the hips. Great. Keep going and do a few more. Doing as much or as little of the movement as feels comfortable for you right now. Feeling for doing this evenly on both sides. Can you get both sides to move evenly and smoothly? And then let's try this a few more rounds, but on the forearms. So bring your forearms down to the floor. So you're resting on the whole forearm, not so much the wrist. And continue the same thing, just feeling for accessing that tilt. So on the inhale, lower belly softens down, tailbone goes up. On the exhale, lower belly pulls in and up. Tailbone is more tilting downwards. It's kind of harder to get any movement here, but so you might just be visualizing and imagining and playing with, oh, what might be able to move here. Or there might be a small movement. Just doing this pelvic tilt, just focusing on your hips. Being really curious about this movement and what physical sensations arise. And then do a little bit more of a cat-cow here, so allowing there to be a bit of movement in the rest of the spine. So now on the inhale, when the tailbone's going up, the belly is relaxing. Let your chest drape down a little more and lift your chin a tiny bit. Only as much as feels comfortable, might not be that far. Do not strain your neck. Then on the exhale, you're going to come into more of a rounded shape. Imagine the tailbone tucking down, belly is pulling in, mid back is pushing up, head is relaxing forwards. Again, with all of this, just finding movements within what's comfortably available today. So an inhale, imagine your spine being more of a U shape. On the exhale, rounding your spine, pulling the belly in. Kind of like curling up, like how woodlice curl up, like curling up in a little ball. Doing a couple more. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders, lift yourself back up and make your way into a seated position. Again, seated any way that feels comfortable for you. I'm going to sit on a cushion cross-legged, but you could straighten your legs, you could kneel, you could even sit on a chair. I want to do some wrist stretches next, so be in a comfortable seated position. And then we'll do a series of stretches to kind of release at the wrists and to stretch out the wrists in various different directions. Let's start with the left hand. Take your left hand out in front of you, hand a bit lower than your shoulder. Inhale, hold onto the little finger. Exhale and stretch your little finger back. Again, keeping this within what is comfortable, not straining or not going for extreme stretch, just like a little bit of openness. Deep breath in, hold on to your ring finger. Exhale, stretch your ring finger back. Hi, little cat. Inhale, middle finger. Stretch out all the fingers on the hand. Exhale, stretching the middle finger back. Being curious as to how this might feel really different every single finger. Inhale, index finger. Exhale, easing your index finger back. Inhale, hold onto the thumb, pull it to the side a little. Exhale, stretching your thumb back. Let's do the same on the other side. So in your own time, take one full breath into each finger. Noticing the difference between each one, the difference between what physical sensation you feel. After you've done all 10 fingers and wiggle, give them a good wiggle. And then to get into this top part of the wrist and the side wrist, we'll take the hands out to the side. So inhale and reach your hands to the side. So your hands are pushing out towards the side walls. Exhale, take your little finger in and then the ring finger, middle finger, index finger and thumb, and then tilt the knuckles down. So I'm stretching into like this part of the wrist. Great, let's do that one more time. Inhale, spread your fingers out. Fingers are pushing to the side. Exhale, little finger in first, then index finger, then thumb, and then tilt the knuckles down. Great. Give them a shake. We'll do a slightly different one now to get into the side part of the wrist. Inhale, reach your hands out to the side. This time the palms are facing forwards. Exhale, thumb in the middle this time. Other fingers wrap around and then tilt your knuckles to the side. So you're stretching into the side wrist. Okay, let's do that again. Inhale, spread your fingers. Exhale, thumb in the middle. Other fingers wrap around, tilting the knuckles to the side. Okay, great. And then give your arms hands a bit of a shake. Last thing we'll do is interlace the hands together. And by the way, change your leg position anytime you want to. And then do some like free form movement where you're bringing sort of twisting movements to your wrists. And then just kind of exploring moving your arms in space in any way so that you get get some movements for the wrists, for the whole, kind of like the whole of the arms are getting to move. You can turn your hands inside out, like just nice and slowly. And again, like just keeping it comfortable, but about playing with the range of movement that's available to you. Because sometimes like pushing into the pain can just result in things getting tighter. That's not helpful. But sometimes playing within the comfortable range of movement can then increase that range of movement. Like over time, it's like you get stronger particularly if you're hypermobile, getting stronger in the easier and more available parts of your movement is a good thing to do. It's not about stretching. I feel like I should put a warning in my yoga class. It's not really about stretching. It's like strength is almost more important. Well, strength is as important. No, strength is more important. All right, give your hands a rest. Next thing we'll do is on the back. This is where you will need a bit of wall, or you could put your foot on a door, or I'm actually going to use this bookcase here. There we go. So I'll show you first, and then you can figure out how you're going to set yourself up. But basically, you'll be on your back with one foot on the wall or the bookcase or whatever, and then one leg is like this. If your hip is super tight, you could take your leg higher up the wall. That's possible. Or you could work this with your foot about the same height as your knee. So figure out where you want to be relative to your wall. Let's do this stretching into the right hip first. So left foot on the wall. The outside edge of my right ankle is resting on the left knee. And I want you to feel into, well, how much feels okay. If there's too much sensation, if there's too much going on, decrease that by lifting the foot, by taking the foot higher up, or by moving a little bit further away from the wall, so that you can feel it, but it's not high level sensation. It's not a lot. Come to a point where it's like, it's okay. And then I want you to hang out there and breathe. Rest your hands on your belly so you can feel your breath reaching your belly and your right hip. Particularly like the right buttock muscles. If you feel that start to release, you might be able to slightly increase the stretch by bringing the foot down or allowing the knee to drop more to the side. Feeling for releasing on the outside of your right hip. Not through pushing or straining, just really through finding that area with your breath. And softening, letting go. And then finish off with that. Unhook your right foot and bring it to the floor. And then change sides. So right foot is on the wall. Left foot is crossed over. Just figuring out, okay, where do I want my right foot to be so that I can feel it a little bit in the left hip, but not too much sensation, not too strong a pull. And one hip will very likely be really different to the other. So the range of movement or where you want to be with this on the other side could be different. Just really listen to that hip, to that side. Connecting with your breath, particularly to the outside edge of your left hip. And to the buttock muscles, particularly like the deep buttock muscles that kind of around the outside of the hip, that kind of a part of what helps us to walk, part of what gives the hip its stability, but also sometimes can be quite grippy. Connecting with your breath and softening. Okay, uncross your left foot. Bring both feet to the floor. Just have a wiggle of your hips on the floor. Whilst we're at the wall, I want to do one more thing here, which is some abs with a roll. You'll need something to squeeze between your thighs. I'm going to take a cushion and fold it in half. If you've got a wider yoga block, you could squeeze that, or you could roll up a blanket, something like that. And then you'll take both feet onto the wall and have the prop in between your thighs. This is a little bit like cat exercise too that we did at the start. But again, kind of feeling for connecting into the fronts and sides of your abdominals. Let's start with the head on the floor, hands on your belly. Maybe you have the some of the fingers just above the pubic bone, and then like with my thumb, I can kind of reach up onto my upper abdominals, like feel the whole belly as much as possible. Inhale all the way down to your hips. Pause, squeeze your thighs onto the prop. Exhale, gather your belly in. Front, the top of the belly, lower belly, left of the belly, right of the belly, everything gather again. Inhale, relax all that. Pause, squeeze your thighs onto the prop. Very slightly inwardly rotate your legs. Move the front of your legs inwards, just very slightly. The feet might come a little wider, that's fine. Exhale, gather your belly in. Inhale, relax all of that. Pause, squeeze onto the prop, slightly internally rotate your legs. Exhale, gather your belly in. Inhale, relax all of that. What I want to do now is the same thing, but with the head, shoulders lifting. If that feels like it would be too much strain on your back today, I want you to stick with what we were doing just now, keeping the head and shoulders on the floor and the hands on the belly. That's also a good thing to do. All right. Deep breath in all the way down to your hips. Spread your lower back into the floor. Pause, squeeze your thighs onto the prop, very slightly inwardly rotate them. Exhale, lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. Gather your belly in. Inhale, slowly release your head down to the floor. Pause, squeeze the prop, very slightly inwardly rotate your legs. Exhale, lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. Gather your belly in. Inhale, slowly lower your head and shoulders. Pause, squeeze your thighs onto the prop, very slightly inwardly rotate. Exhale, head and shoulders lift all the way up. Squeeze the prop, gather your belly in. Inhale, bring your head and shoulders slowly down to the floor. Exhale, bring your feet down, remove your prop. Reach your arms out to the side and do a very slow side to side twist with your knees, like we did earlier. Making it all about staying within your comfortable range of movement. Moving in a way that feels kind and soothing. And then roll all the way onto one side and slowly sit up. Just before we come down onto our fronts to do a mini back bend, let's try a mini back bend, forward bend from a seated position. You could do this legs crossed or legs straight, experiment with what feels better for you. But just inhaling, rocking forwards on the sitting bones, lifting your chest, lifting the crown of your head. Exhale, pull your belly in, rounding. So inhale, rocking forwards. This is like a mini back bend, lifting your chest. Exhale, rounding, moving backwards, mini forward bend. Another way to do this would be with the knees bent as well. That would also be possible. Just doing a couple of these, feeling into the difference between a back bend and a forward bend, even just like a really subtle one. Being with your breath. Okay, next I want to do just some mini Cobra push-ups. Come onto your front. Rearrange so you're lying on your belly on the floor. Too much furniture. And then just have your hands so the fingertips are lined up with the top of your shoulders. Start with your forehead on the floor. Inhale, send lots of breath to your lower back. Exhale, curl your pubic bone down towards the floor. As you do that, your lower back will lengthen. Then I also want you to press the tops of your feet into the floor. Switch your lower buttock muscles on so your legs are quite awake. Keep pressing your pubic bone down towards the floor. And then with all that going on in the legs, as you inhale, lift your chest away from the floor, just as much as feels comfortable in your back. Might not be too far. Then as you exhale, lower down to the floor. I want you to keep your legs switched on. Keep pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. So have the lower buttock muscles switched on. Great. And then we'll just do a few of these. On an inhale, coming up into like a mini Cobra. Just going as far as feels okay for today. On the exhale, lowering down. Keeping your neck in neutral. Not so much lifting and throwing the head back. Making this more about connecting to your lower back. And a sense of strengthening the muscles either side of your spine. Kind of more sort of mid, lower down. Keep pressing the tops of your feet into the floor. Okay, last one. Turn your head to whatever side feels most convenient. And then take a couple of breaths here, directing breath into your lower back. Now just letting your legs relax. Feel for sending your breath to the back of your pelvis, your sacrum. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Lift yourself back onto your hands and knees. Let's do some leg glides whilst we're here. So positioning yourself with your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And we'll be keeping the spine and core quite stable, but just sliding each leg back in turn. So So this inhaling and sliding your right foot back on the floor. Keep your lower back and your hips stable. Exhale, bring the right leg back to where it was. Try to do this without hiking your hip up, kind of keeping your hips really level. Inhale, left foot slides back. Feeling for a subtle core connection as you do that. Exhale, left knee comes back to where it was. Great. Let's do that a few more times. So inhale, sliding a leg back. Exhale, leg comes back to where it was. Can you do that, keeping the rest of your frame as stable as possible? Inhale, other leg. Exhale, your other leg comes back. Do 2 more on either side. Feel for your belly muscles being part of this movement. Particularly when you're bringing the leg back in. Then after this round, come into child's pose. You get to choose whether you have your knees and feet parallel, or whether it would feel better to have your knees wide and your feet together. Go with whatever feels most comfortable for you. And then either rest your forehead on the floor or set up something like a cushion to rest your forehead on. Connect your breath with your back body here. Relax your jaw, relax your eyes. And then walk your hands in underneath your shoulders, lift yourself up, and make your way into whatever position you'd like to do Shavasana in today, whether that's lying on the back or in some other way. For a few minutes of kind of rest. So whatever setup would be most comfortable for you. I like having extra props like pillows and blankets. Time to pretend to be asleep just by staying still for a few minutes. So lying down however's most comfortable for you. Closing your eyes if that feels okay. Relaxing your eyeballs and behind your eyes. Relaxing the roof of your mouth, the back of your tongue, the space between your upper jaw and lower jaw. Relaxing your neck, relaxing your chest and your shoulders. Relaxing your ribs and your belly. Relaxing your lower back, your hips, your buttocks. Relaxing your legs, your knees, your feet. Just resting for a minute or two. Resting your body. Resting your brain. Just slowing down. Reconnect to your deep, deep breath. Feeling your body and feeling for occupying your own body. Like this is your body. You get to feel it. You get to live in it. You get to experience the world through your body. Then if you're on your back, bring your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side a little on your lower back. Just giving yourself a hug. And then roll all the way onto one side and sit up. So thank you for joining me for class today. Enjoy the rest of your day and hopefully I'll see you soon. I do have other classes out there on YouTube. So go search for Inspiratrix Yoga on YouTube and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and then you'll find out whenever I release new classes out into the world in public. That happens sort of every now and again. If you'd like to work more with me though, I do teach weekly yoga classes. I teach yoga retreats, I run trainings. I also have a membership program where you get access to loads of classes and also a huge library of recordings. So if you'd like more yogas with me, go to inspiratrix.co.uk and that will tell you all the fabulous things I am currently offering. Goodbye for now.